All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rikakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to all you Akim out there pushing his truth across the four winds so we can seal the elect and make it to the kingdom. All right, it's the brother Yerah. Lord willing, coming back to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Lord willing to feed the body and edify the sheep in all spirit, faith, truth, sincerity, and doctrine. All right. And you see the title of today's lesson, Through the Spirit, all right, of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, this is a response, okay? A response to the elder Manata Zagba, all right, response to his video, all right. And I just wanted to highlight a point, land back off of, the elders live, something that I just noticed through the spirit, and I wanted to address it through the spirit, and Lord willing, this is edifying to the body and it feeds the sheep through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. Every Israelite is not a brother. Okay. Every Israelite is not a brother. All right. Just because that they're black, so-called black, Latino, or Native or Seminole Indian, man or woman. All right. They're wearing fringes and they identify themselves as Israelites does not make them a brother. Okay. And this is for, mainly for you new brothers and sisters that are, new to the faith. All right. I know when you first come in, we've all been through that. When you first come in, you're excited, you're excited to know something new, to know who you are, finally, you see, and you want to go around and you want to, tell everybody, when you first come in, that's that spirit that you're in, that fiery vigor, type of spirit, and you can get, fooled by coming up to other Israelites and they identify themselves as Israelites. And you're like, oh, hey, brother. That doesn't mean that that's your brother. Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to highlight, I wanted to play this clip. All right. I wanted to play this clip from this video here. Like I mentioned earlier, Elder Manata Zakba right here. Shalom, Zaquan. All right. And his page is GMS South Carolina 08. Okay. GMS South Carolina 08. Okay. And his video here, or his live lesson, is called "Justify the Wicked to Condemn the Just." All right, give us Barabbas. All right, and this is what he was responding to, pertaining to Gorilla. I can't even call him a Hebrew because he checked out of the game. He took his hand off the plow. His words, not mine. All right, but Pegatron. All right, so I want to play this video. All right, so you can see where I'm going with this lesson. Okay, as it pertains to every Israelite is not a brother. All right.
Hebrews like businesses. Hebrews like marriages. Hebrews like hip hop, brew hop. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Selling all kind of merchandise. I forget the title of his, merchandise company. Is it called Urban Gorilla? Yeah, all right, man. We don't care. Unimportant, stupid shit. More fanboy madness, like the brother said, man. Let's read something else. And we ain't gonna be too long. Here's somebody that says, let's see. Some nigga, look at this guy. Look at this guy. God since 13p. Some y'all are mistaken. The affiliation with camp doctrine doesn't mean you're solidified in truth. Thanks. Since you're a prophet and a man of the Lord, thanks for setting us straight on that, G. I stand with G on his decision. We are all brethren still, and I expect every one of you to consider the chief commandments. He's going to tell us about the commandments, y'all. Somebody who don't have a camp, he don't teach, he don't preach. From far as we know.
See, you gotta watch out for people like this, man. Okay. They know that they're Israelites. All right. They might even have an Israelite name in the Paleo Hebrew. Okay. But someone that speaks like this, all right, what Jake don't understand is, man, when you come into this When you come into this truth, all right, this thing of ours, as Apostle Kabar says, all right, you have to understand the process, okay, the correct process. You have to be changed, man. You have to become a new creature, as the scriptures say. All right, you have to become a new creature, man. Okay, meaning you think different than you think differently than you did. You might even dress differently than you did. Okay, but you very well should speak differently than you did. Okay, this right here, speaking like this is a nigga, man. I stand with the G. I stand with G on his decision. You see, a nigga talks like that, man. You gotta watch out for people like this, man.
We never seen you, never heard of you. You got no videos, but you're gonna lecture us on what we should be doing. Let's listen in, everybody. The word of the Lord is
That's another thing. Okay, anybody jumping on the comment boards and professing, that they have the wisdom of the Bible, the wisdom of God. Especially if it's an Israelite man, and you go to his page and he has no works, he has no lessons, he has no proof that he's been on the highways and hedges as we were commanded to do. All right, that's another indicator that Israelite is not your brother. Okay,
speaking now. Why is there even a doctrine that pushes if you're not in a camp, you're not true? That is traditions of men. I'm not against camps or people deciding to separate from it. Oh, wait. He says, I'm not against camps or people deciding to separate from it. He or she is still brethren concerning the truth of the Most High.
see, right here, we are all brethren. See, we are all brethren. All right, and then down here, just let me go back a little bit.
Okay, so let's get a few scriptures on that.
So like here, just want to go back just a little bit so I can show you right here. He or she is still brethren concerning the truth of God. See, and this is the mindset that our people are in, man. Okay. Oh, he or she identifies as an Israelite, so that's my brother, that's my sister. You see, Jake are lost sheep, man. Okay, and excuse my French, but downright idiots, man. Okay, like when you see this, see the T-shirt, you see the fringes. Oh, that's my brother. You don't know what he's about. You don't know his mindset. You don't know if he's changed as a man or a woman in the spirit. You don't know if he truly believes. What names what names that do he call on? You don't know any of that. You don't know if he's doing the work or not. You don't know any of that. You see, all you see is the fringes, the T-shirt, and you say and the beard, and you say, "Oh, hi, Israelite." Even these rappers, like Kendrick Lamar and Kodak Black. I'm an Israelite. Oh, that's my brother. See, you people, are easily duped. Okay, I'm talking about you Israelites that know that you're Israelites, man. Okay, because guess what? 2/3, all right, two thirds of the nation of Israel. Okay, most of those 2/3 are going to know that they're Israelites. Well, all of them are going to had at least heard that they're Israelites. Most won't accept it, but you're gonna have some 2/3 that are gonna have T-shirt fringes on and proclaiming to be Israelites, man. All right, this guy right here might be a 2/3. You see, this guy Bishop Nate and his minions might be 2/3. You see, not all of them, but most of them might be 2/3. You see this guy right here, pointing, you know, might be a 2/3 right here, man. You can't get fooled. You can't get fooled by someone calling himself an Israelite. Okay, and let's read this here, the book of First Saint John, chapter 4, and verse 1, and it reads, "Beloved," all right, which means brethren, "beloved, believe not every spirit." See that? Have you Israelites ever read that? Do you understand what that means? It's simple and plain put. Okay, beloved, believe not every spirit. I'm an Israelite. Oh, okay, hey, brother. No, it says believe not every spirit, but try the spirits. All right, the person's spirit. Okay, whether they are of Yahweh. Okay, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So the Lord, so the Lord gave us a warning. Hey, look, but don't believe every spirit. You see, but try their spirit. Okay, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Now, how do you try the spirits of these people proclaiming that they're Israelites? Okay, ask them, hey, well, what's the name of the Father and the Son? You see, if they tell you, oh no, no, Jesus Christ, He is the Father and the Son. Well, that's not your brother. You see, if they can't even tell you the names of the Heavenly Father or the Son, that's not your brother. You see a chick with a head wrap and a dress on, with fringes at the borders. Oh, shalom, sister. Shalom, brother. That's not your sister, man. Try her spirit, man. You see? Try her spirit. If she say, yeah, brother, are you teaching? I'm out here teaching. I make videos and I go out in the highways and hedges. That's not your sister, man. She's going off. Women are not supposed to be out there teaching according to the scriptures. That's not what the Lord commanded the women to do, to go outside in the highways and hedges and teach. If she tells you that, then guess what? That's not your sister. You see? Let's read it again. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. See? So you have to try the spirit, man. All right. Let's get this here too also. The book of Hebrews, Salakia. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse, we'll start verse 14. Straight to the point. All right. So everybody that calls himself an Israelite is not your brother, man, or your sister. Okay. You got to be mindful of that. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 14, and it reads, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age. Okay. Those that have been tried in this truth. Okay. And the spirit has been entrusted with them for many, many years. Okay. All right. Those men that have been proven through the spirit, man. Okay. No matter how long they've been in the truth, they've been proven. All right. Those are the men that can digest the strong meat of the scriptures, man. Okay. The deep breakdowns. Okay. You see the mysteries of the scriptures. It says, even those who by reason of us, it's like even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. And that's the point, man. Okay. Because most of you jakes out there that think, you put yourself on a level, all right, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, so I know it all. I know the breakdown of Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Now you think you know something. Now you're going out there and you're pretty much being a novice, man. You're being a proud novice. You see? But you have to be proven, man. Okay. But right here, you have to be able to exercise, all right, have your senses exercised to discern both good and evil. And that's why you guys call every man and woman and child, all right, with certain signifiers like the fringes or the head wrap. You got guess what? You got niggas that wear dreadlocks. They got fringes on. Is that your brother? Most Israelites will look at that guy and be like, hey, shalom, brother, shalom, king. No. I look at a guy like that, and trust me, I come across them all the time. Guys like that. There was a guy, the brother, he went to the gym one time, and he went to the gym and he seen a guy on a treadmill with his t-shirt and fringes, man, working out. Is that your brother? What you gonna you gonna look over at him? Shalom, King. You an Israelite? I'm an Israelite too. No. You see? All right. You have to have your senses exercised so that you can discern both good and evil. Okay. All right. Those that are Israelites, that are truly Israelites, and those that are not. Okay. Because just like the elder said in this video, okay, you have Israelites that are Israelites. They know that they're Israelites. Yeah. And they're Israelites by blood, of course. But are they Israelites in the spirit? You see? Are they truly for Yahweh while Yahweh Shai? You got to be able to discern that. You see? And that's why the scripture says what? In 1 John 4, verse 1. All right. Try the spirits whether to see whether they are of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Don't just believe every spirit. All right. So every Israelite that call himself an Israelite are not your brother or your sister. Okay. Let me get this here. Matthew chapter 7. All right. And we'll start at verse 15. We'll read verse 15 and 16. All right. So it's the book of St. Matthew, chapter 15 and 16. It's like chapter 7, excuse me. Matthew, chapter 7, verse 15 and 16. Okay. And it's red letter, so you know who's speaking. Yahweh Shai. All right. Look, it says a tree and its fruit. Okay. The tree would represent the person. Okay. That man or woman proclaiming that they're Israelites. Right. But look, and its fruit. Okay. What are their works? All right. Faith without works is dead. Oh, yeah, I have faith that I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but where are your works? Where are your works? If that man doesn't have any work, guess what? That's not your brother. That's not your brother. Don't just go around calling everybody your brothers and sisters, man. St. Matthew 7 and 15. Beware of false prophets, see, which come to you in sheep's clothing, see, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. See that? So, Jake, you just going around accepting men and women as your brother and your sister, okay? But do you know that there are false prophets out here? This is the Lord right here in red letter. You don't think that it's false prophets today? Men that know that they're Israelites, men and women that know that they're Israelites, but they're out teaching and proclaiming, But are they true prophets or are they false prophets? You see, you have to be able to discern that. All right. Verse 16, it says, ye shall know them, right? Here's the indicator. Ye shall know them by their fruits, their works. Okay. You shall know false prophets and true prophets by their fruits, their works. It says, do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Okay. But the point is, ye shall know them by their fruits. Okay. You're going to know a false prophet by their works. And that's why the Lord said in 1 John chapter 4, okay, try the spirit, whether they be of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. You have to try them. You can't just accept a friend. The scriptures even tell you that. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if it let me see prove a friend. Okay. Because anybody you call yourself anybody you call a brother or a sister in this truth, all right, those would be considered your friends. Not only just your brothers or your sisters, those would be considered your friends. Your friends. So this book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7. Okay. And it reads, if thou wouldest get us a friend, right, or a brother or a sister, right, prove him first. See, prove him first. Try him. See, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. Don't be hasty to call him a bro. Oh, hey, shalom, brother. Shalom, sister. You can't do that. Every Israelite that call themselves Israelites, okay, are not your brother or your sister. Okay, not all of them, man. You have to try them. You got to prove them first, man. Okay, but then you yourself have to know what to look for. You have to know what certifications per se, what certifications that a true man of the Lord has to have, and you have to look out for those things. You have to prove and test them to see if he have those things. You see, what is his credibility? All right. What is his works? Does he have? Is he coming in the true names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the Father and the Son? You have to do that, man. Okay. Let me also get this. So, like, I don't want this to be too long. We get Romans chapter 9 and verse 6. All right. So, book of Romans chapter 9 and verse 6, and it reads, not as though the word of Yahweh have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. See, not all Israelites. Oh, this is a black man, or this is a Mexican man, or this is a Latino man. Do you know through the Spirit? All right. Do you know through wisdom? Excuse me. All right, which is the Spirit. But do you know through the Spirit, according to the Scriptures? All right, seed lines can be mixed up. You have Israelites that look like the other nations. You can walk past a man that looks like a white man, but once you actually try him or prove him, you actually speak to him, conversate with him, read his spirit, it could be revealed that that's an Israelite. Do you know that? Do you know that there are heathen covered Israelites? But even on the flip side, do you know that there are Israelite covered heathens? You could come across a so-called black man, Mexican man, Latino man, and their seed line can go back to Esau. Their seed line can go back to Elam. Their seed line can go back to Ham. You see, but that's why you have to be what does it say? Your senses have to be exercised, man, so that you can separate and understand between good and evil. Okay, what's right and what's wrong. All right. So right here it says, "For they are not all Israel which are of Israel." Okay, not all Israelites are your brother or your sister, man. Just because they say that they're Israelites. Even Yahweh Shai knew the difference. Let's get that, and then we'll close it out. Okay. Even the heavenly, even the son of the heavenly Father, Yahweh. So like Yahweh Shai. Okay. Even Yahweh Shai knew the difference. Okay. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 46. We'll start at verse 46. We'll read it down to 50. All right. St. Matthew chapter 12, verse 46, and it reads, while he yet talked to the people, talking about Yahweh Shai, who was out there speaking with the Israelites, okay, right, those that believed of the Israelites, right, while he was yet out, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with them. So while Yahweh Shai was speaking, all right, to the true believers who were Israelites, right, his blood mother and his blood brothers, all right, stood afar off. They wanted to speak to him, you know. Verse 47, it says, then one said unto him, all right, one of his disciples, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shai. Your mother and your brethren, they want to speak to you. All right, verse 48. But he, Yahweh Shai, answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who is my brethren? See this? You niggas say, oh, well, yeah, these are all my brothers and sisters. No. Look what Yahweh Shai said, verse 49. And he stretched out, he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples, okay, his disciples, the believers, okay, those that actually followed him, man. Those that dropped everything within their lives, man, just to follow Yahweh Shai, man. That's faith. They showed hardcore faith in Yahweh Shai, man. Those are his disciples, man, the believers, the true worshipers. All right. Even today, the true worshipers, as the scriptures say. All right. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. See, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, All right. The same as my mother. So like the same as my brother and sister and mother. See, these are my friends. These are my family. Okay. Those that are like-minded. Okay. Those that believe in hold the true doctrine, the true gospel. All right. Because there are many different doctrines out here. Which one is the true doctrine? And even when you understand which is the true doctrine, you have to test and prove those that have it or not. You can't just accept people as brothers and sisters, man. That's off. You see? So I'm gonna leave it there. Hey, Lord willing, this is edifying to the body, and it fed the sheep through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Shalom.